I know you guys are hungry. Okay, it didn't record, okay? It's not my fault. Pop-up markets are not all sunshines. My gosh. Can I please record this YouTube video so I can buy you food? Oh Lord, please help me. Oh my gosh, don't do that! Mew! Guess who's back again. Hey, what's up everyone? Mayumo here again, and today we are diving into the world of the pros and cons of what it's like to be an art vendor at pop-up market. Now, if you haven't seen my last two videos regarding the 4 basic steps of becoming an art vendor, and the other video which is about what art vendors do before, during, and after a market, I suggest you check those out to help you in deciding whether you want to be an artist vendor at these markets. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of what is good about them and what is not so great. So first up, let's talk about the pros. Number 1, exposure and networking, baby. I find that these pop-up shops and markets are a really great way to get people to have eyes on your art. I understand that in this day and age, you can just do that online, but that can be difficult nowadays because if you are an artist and you have a lot of still images or still art, it's very difficult because everything is focused on videos, short form content that's just really quick, 10 seconds or less. Being at these pop-up shops is super fun because it's honestly like parties for art enthusiasts. If you have art that is handcrafted, handmade, hand-painted, merchandise that you created using your art, a lot of people who frequent these markets love this stuff. You might meet a lot of new people at these pop-up markets that end up becoming your biggest art supporters and or your biggest investors, contributors, and even sometimes your collaborators. A lot of these pop-up markets also have a diverse group of people that you get exposed to. It's just a good way and a good opportunity just to have your art out in front of people, and it'll potentially connect you with other artists and maybe even industry professionals that you were not expecting at all. Number 2 is direct sales. Basically removing the middleman. You are everything. There is no middleman. You're the artist, you're the seller, you are financial, the manager, you're everything. This is a good thing for you if you want more money in your purse, you want more money in your pocket. You make the rules about pricing and you don't have to pay any interest rate. If you compare it to art galleries and other online platforms, you are not using a third party. It's just you. Number 3 is you get instant feedback at these markets. So what does that mean? Sometimes you create a piece of art and you want people to see it and you get instant feedback. They obviously see your stuff and you get to see their face light up, they're super interested. And for us as artists, honestly, this is like gold. It's good to have the instant feedback because then we get to see what people like, what works with your art, what attracts people. And if this is your niche, which is being an artist vendor, then you get to see what works for the people you want to attract. Number 4 is you get to test the market and what is the demand. So when you're in person at these pop-up markets, you basically treat it like your own lab. You're experimenting to see what people like, what people want, and you get to see the demand. Like, why is that a big deal that you can test that out? It's a big deal because you get to have free data based on your stuff and what sells, and now you can make more of what sells versus what does not. The last pro is the flexibility. You are the boss, and I love that. You don't have to work with anyone. You are just working for yourself. And as artists, you know how much we love our freedom. So there's a lot of flexibility in how we can display our art and how we want to sell it, how it can be used. So there's really like no long-term commitment with these pop-up shops. It's just a quick, temporary, touch and go type of way to have your art be sold and or looked at. This can be beneficial too if you're really busy and you've got a busy schedule, you have too many things going on. This will not let you be in a committed long-term selling arrangement. But hey, it is not all about rainbows and sunshine. There is some cons to being a artist market vendor. Number one con is the cost and the logistics. Setting up a shop and or being at these markets can cost a pretty penny. Renting a booth could be free or literally $600, and you have to take that into account as an expense and your overall production. It's not just the rental booth as well. There are various expenses that you're gonna need to consider. So I said the booth fees. There's also display materials, transportation, how you're marketing things, how you're producing your art items. You know, whether for you that's canvases, that's paint material, printing materials, paper, ink. Include these costs into your profits. So it kind of has to balance out. In order for you to actually make money, you need to make sure that more income comes to you rather than you spending. Personally, for myself, if I've made the money back and being at the pop-up shop, I feel successful already because it balanced out. I paid for my worth. But there can be markets where you do not make enough at all and you end up losing money. So you really have to consider the cost and logistics of everything if it's even worth it. Number two is pop-up shops are seasonal and there's limited opportunities. Sometimes these markets can just come and go like the wind. There's definitely repeating markets that are a bit more successful, but the more successful ones will definitely be more expensive because there's a lot of foot traffic there. However, just typically pop-up shops are just held on specific dates during certain seasons. So now you have to consider that if being an artist market vendor was something for you to be like a main source of income, then it's not going to work out because it just is not, it's not consistent enough. So because you don't really know what to expect, seasons change and it's just unpredictable. Number three is it's very time intensive. What do I mean by that? Let's be real, prepping for a pop-up shop takes a lot of work. If you watch my last video, I summarized it in about 5 minutes about what happens before, during, and after. My goodness, it is longer than 5 minutes in whatever video I created, but there's a lot of ongoing, like time-consuming things that have to go into preparing for a market and being at the market. You gotta think about, all of your inventory, marking the prices, figuring that out, and then you gotta think about setting up your booth. And when you get there is you have to set up your booth, which can take about an hour or more depending on what your stuff is. And then you are gonna be sitting in that place, connecting with people, talking to people, and that will be hours of your day. And then after that, you gotta consider taking down your booth. And then, if this market itself was not even in your city that you live in and you drove there, you have to consider that driving amount as well. So yeah, definitely there is a significant amount of investment of time and energy at these markets. Now I'm gonna wrap it up with the last two cons, which is one, weather and location. So if your pop-up shop or market is outside, well, you cannot always predict the weather. If you booked your market like a month ahead, you don't know if it's gonna rain on that one Saturday. You have to come prepared if that was the case. So if you have, your art products, make sure they're protected from the elements. As well as if the weather was bad, like say if it was rainy, then you probably might have less foot traffic, and less foot traffic means less chances to be selling your stuff. The last thing is basically limited customer reach. And what does that mean? That just means the people that come to these markets, as diverse as they can be, it also still depends on foot traffic and who comes to these markets. It can be limited by, not having enough exposure to the market. Maybe the market organizers didn't publicize it enough or market it enough to the public. So then nobody really ends up coming to these events. So then you'll end up having a limited reach. Another thing is compared to an online platform where you're reaching the entire world, markets are just a partial part of a city population that you're seeing. Might not be attracting the community or your target audience at these markets because maybe your target audience are not market goers, and so you might not be exposed to the right people, and that would limit your growth. Alright, so that's a wrap on my pros and cons of what it's like to be an artist vendor at these pop-up shops. Overall, personally, being an artist vendor is a great experience as a beginner artist like myself, and it's a great opportunity to just have eyes on my art, get instant feedback from people to see what works and what people actually like, and just generally like gain experience in talking to people and who I want in my art community as a brand. That, like I said, there are not great things about it as well, but you just kind of have to consider the benefits and the risk. If the benefits outweighs the risk for you, then that's great. But you do have to be definitely cautious because there is potential risk. Like if you do not have enough funds, that is a big con. Okay, Miyu, I would like to finish the video, please. All right. I guess that's where I'm gonna end the video because Miyu wants attention now. Can I finish the video? Thank you. That's all I have. Hopefully it was super helpful to you in your art journey if you are considering being an artist vendor. Thanks for hanging out with me. Do not forget to smash the like button and do not forget to subscribe. I would like to hang out with you guys more and make more videos for you that might be helpful. But until next time, keep shining, keep doing your thing, be gentle with yourself, keep creating art. Remember, your art is good enough. Do not put yourself down and be unapologetically yourself. That's all. Goodbye. See you later. Adios, amigos. Thank you.